Good morning and welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. It's a warm welcome. And I'm glad you found me on Facebook because I'm here to talk to you about the Child Protection System. That's what I call CPS, the Child Protection System. It's a government entity that was created in 1962 at the Congress directed that social services would put together a group of social workers to protect our children from neglect and abuse. So that's how they formed the Child Protection Agency. It's a part of social services, and it's grown, since '62 to now um, as a government entity. And the problem being is that there's a lot of rogue government entities. Now, it's found in every county in every state. So, like North Carolina has 100 counties, they're going to have 100 CPS. And California has 58 counties. Each state has different sets of counties. But the way CPS distributes is like social service. It's there, and it's a watchdog of our children. Now, social services is supposed to help people in need, people that are United States citizens in need, people that have been born here or became a U.S. citizen through immigration process. We're all immigrants. Think about it. The first immigrants were the were the Native Indians and Native American Indians. They immigrated 10,000 years ago over the land bridges up in Alaska from Siberia, from Asia to North America. They migrated. People on this earth have migrated that all started in Africa and they branched out across the world. And so these first immigrants have been living here for a long time. They too have been abused in recent years. And I mean by that, it was, you know, the Native American Indians were allowed to be free and roam in their land, which they had found long before. The only problem is there was sort of a history of broken promises. When the next immigrants that came over here to North America were the Vikings, and they Vikings were explorers, and they also were not trying to settle. They never did settle in North America. There was never any permanent settlements. The Native American Indians and the Vikings just were two kinds of people that couldn't get along. The Vikings did try to settle Greenland and Iceland, but they're a seafaring group that came from Norway. And the reason why I know a lot about the Vikings is my great great grandfather is a Viking from Bergen, Norway, from a Viking town there. And yes, the Vikings died out. They died out in about the 1200 AD. They're around for about a good 1,000 years. But they were such great seafarers, they found North America, not Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus only got to the Caribbeans. He never made it to North America. And the word Indians, for some of you interested, came from Christopher Columbus naming the indigenous people on the islands there in the Caribbean as Indians. So that's because he thought he was in India. He thought he discovered the spices and the things he heard about the Indians because, people have brought back things from India because we had the Crusades that took place and people were going east and the trekkings of Marco Polo. There's been a lot of history of that, but it all has a bearing. The reason why I bring all this up in here is I'm giving you a little bit of a history. You see, first of all, I need to tell you that um, I'm not here to give legal advice because I'm not a lawyer or an attorney. I'm here to give you educational advice of how to deal with your child protection system, your case, which I abbreviated CPS. And as I was telling you that the Native Americans were the first immigrants, the Vikings, but they're gone. Then we had the Europeans. And all this boils down to being a citizen. When you came to the United States, you became a citizen of the United States. You spoke the common language, which was English. There was French. There was all kinds of Germanic language, German, and so forth, because we had all the Europeans trying to discover North America. We had the English, we had the Irish, we had the French, we had the Danish, and we had uh, the Dutch, and then we had the Spanish and the Italians. We had everybody from the Europe that came in, the Germans, the French. They all wanted a piece of North America, and they settled it. And at first, our children that were there are cases that go back to the 1600s of children being abused and how it's being resolved and how it's being solved. And um, it is kind of interesting today because we talk about our children, they're born here. And this is hard because just because you're from another country, you have a child here, they're automatically made a citizen. I think until the parents are citizens, the children are not citizens. Because what's happened is that our social service has been depleted so bad has been depleted. And our children have been so abused and neglected for such a long time. We have a government agency. In California, some of the counties, like Los Angeles County, the child protection system there is called the Department of Children and Family Services. Next door in Orange County, the county that I had my case in, is called the Child Protection Services, CPS. In Prescott, Arizona, it's called the Department of Children's Services, DCS. In Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. There's so many different names. There are thousands of different names. Not only here, but it's worldwide. It is a worldwide live stream. So I'm here to educate you of how to fight CPS. I can talk about legal matters, but I want it to be understandable that I'm not an attorney. I am a loving father and a husband. I have 43 years of marriage experiences. I've helped raise 6 children, and my 6 children have families. Unfortunately, I encountered a horrible, horrible episode with CPS late in my life. Late in my life. It all started when I lost my forever job at age 60. It's a hard thing to lose something because I've been working since age 15. I've worked over 61 years. 61 years I've been working. And I have a lot of life skills that I can help you out with. Yes, life skills are important. The sad part is it's not part of our society as much as it should be. There was some attempt to do life skills. Things like I know in my early years in middle school, it wasn't called middle school, it was called junior high and high school. There's attempts to do sex education. But I think one of the problems that I see that families have is that there should be life skills every year you're in school. Now, schooling has gone down lower. You have your preppy, you have your preschool, which is for the young children. And a lot of preschool was done so parents go to work, they drop their kids off, and they would have a preschool that they'd pay for. Then after that, some of the schools, now I'm only talking in California, but they have in California a thing called preppy kindergarten. It's before kindergarten. They have a class called preppy K. It's done by the public schools. Then there's kindergarten and then grades 1 through 6. Excuse me, 1 through 5. That is called elementary school. Middle school is grades 6 through 8, 6, 7, 8. High school is ninth through 12th, 9 to 10, 9 to 12. And of course, after that is your college, and you can pursue after college a master's and a doctorate. So that's a lot of education if you think about it. Because if you have 12 years plus preppy K plus kindergarten, that's 13, 14 years. And if you have them in preschool, that could be 16 years. College is 14, that's 20 years. A master's 2, that's 22. A PhD is 24. So you can have 24 years of education, which a lot of people do. The problem is, and I think this is one of the problems I'm trying to help out, that we need to change the system. We need to have life skills every day as students in school. What I mean by life skills are simple things. In early years of development, you have bullying that takes place in schools. At the elementary level, my children were bullied. Bullied is where one kid takes advantage of another kid because they're bigger or they want their way. There's a lot of corruptness where there's kids that will demand money for safe passage. It's sickening how things have changed from schooling. When I was in high school, it was a big deal if someone shot a spit wad at the clock or put one of those fart pillows underneath the seat. Now they have to wrestle guns. They don't have lockers anymore because students were hiding all their drugs. They're doing drug deals in high school. With the advent of the cell phone and the beepers were the first things. A pager would go off telling there's a drug deal. So what we need to do is we need to educate the kids who in turn will educate their parents when they come home. They'll say, gee, mom, we learned about bullying and how to stand up for ourselves. Or now we're in middle school, we learned about sex education. A lot of parents have a hard time talking about it. So the children would get involved. Right now with the internet, it's a big, big problem. Now I'm trying to do a different intro. Every intro, I try to make my show differently. So if you want to talk on my show, feel free to message me a message by texting it. It can either be a question or comment about CPS. Please state your first name. All I need is know your first name and your city or county and your state. If you're outside the United States, your country, because I do have 25 countries. The other day, we had a new country, Belize was the newest country that came in there. Um, right now, we have Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, then the Middle East. We have Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Libya. Then over to the continent of Africa, we have Liberia and Sudan, and then Republic of Congo, then Rwanda, then Mozambique, and then we have um, South Africa and its provinces. Up to Europe, we have England, United Kingdom, England, Scotland, and Wales, Denmark, and Sweden. Across the pond in North America, we have Canada and its provinces. Then, of course, we have the United States and all 50 states either called in or texted. In fact, we've even heard from Washington, D.C. Then, south of the border, we have Mexico. And then further south, a new country is talking about Belize on the coast. Belize on the coast. They're part of Central America. And then south of that, we've had a country north of Brazil on the East Coast called Grenada. Then we go across the South Pacific. We have New Zealand and the land down under Australia and its states. So it's about 2,800 people that have called in, and I'm trying to share their story with you. Their story with you. Now, another way to interact in this live stream is to be a guest, and I put my banner up there. Now, we have Betty Joe that just called in. Good morning, Betty Joe. Um, Betty Joe is a foster care mother. She's also a very wonderful lady who's helped out other people in this room. She herself has recently adopted a child. This child was young. I think he was like 4 years old, 5 years old. Anyway, his parents were killed on a Friday night a couple of months ago. Now, her being a foster mom, they put the child with her, and she took care of the boy and made the boy feel really comfortable because he didn't understand at that age about losing a parent. And he did a good bonding. But Betty Joe is in there to foster care, not to take children, not to adopt. She was just a temporary. So she was encouraged by some of the family members that wanted to adopt the boy. But when the boy got adopted out to family members, it didn't work out. So the boy came back and Betty Joe adopted him. So now this boy has a mother, Betty Joe has a son. But Betty Joe doesn't stop there. She has her brother that she cares so much about. Her brother, with his girlfriend, had a child, a young daughter. It's her niece. And they were into involving with drugs. They moved to Nebraska and were living in a tree house when CPS busted them because that's not a way you bring up a child in a tree house. There was no toilet, no, it was just, I don't know if he even was like a hippie, but it sounds like it was a hippie. Reason why I knew about hippie is that I grew up in the 60s. I know about hippies. I went to Woodstock in 1969 in August. I went to the big festival. I've been around the block a little bit. You'll find me very rich in a lot of my travels. I've traveled to almost every country in the world. I've lived in 3 or 4 countries. I've lived in 5 or 6 states. Um, I'm a world traveler. For 25 years, I was living out of a bag, going from Tahiti to the Cook Islands to Japan to Fiji to South Africa to France. It's all because of surfing contests. But anyway, um, the world to me is a small place. So I've seen other cultures, other countries. I also am well educated. I have a bachelor's science degree in marine biology. I also have a teaching credential in secondary education where I teach high school biology and chemistry, AP, advanced placement, college level classes at a high school level. I'm also a former ocean lifeguard, and I'm also was an animal trainer at Marine Land of the Pacific. That's in Palos Verde, California. And I used to train orcas, which are killer whales, dolphins, pilot whales, walruses, whatnot. And one of the whales I trained is Quirky. She's still alive, and she's down at SeaWorld. Anyway, I'm trying to tell you some things about me. And I did talk about Betty Joe, and it's a warm welcome. But Betty Joe is trying to get her niece. Her niece is trapped by a family that's just using the money to adopt a child. The family's not blood relatives. And that niece needs to be with Betty Joe. And I'm praying for you, Betty Joe, and I'm here to help you. Now we have another person in the room named Ken Connie. You're new, Kim Connie, and welcome. And thank you, Kim, for telling me your location. She's in Macomb County, Michigan, and she's calling for her daughter in a case. Well, Kim, I'm so glad you found me. I'm so glad. I want you to know that you can uh, ask, and I will help you about your case, Kim. Now, on my screen, I've put up a banner that talks about the live stream. That's where I can take 9 of you and talk among yourselves and on this live stream to others and answer questions. You just pick one of my 14 shows or all 14 shows. I'm on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. On the weekends, I'm on at 8 a.m. I'm on every night on another show at 7 p.m. So I have 2 live streams a day, 14 times a week. All you do is pick one of them or pick all 14 of them. You're going to email me. My email's in there. It's bobppace@vincentwdaves.com. You email me with your name, your email, and your phone number. And of course, the date that you want to be on my live stream. And I'll send it on to my show producer, Grace, who will send you a link to the software application I use, which is called StreamYard. What you see before me is StreamYard. It's broadcasting on YouTube, but it's StreamYard is the application. Now, the rules are simple. When you're in this room, you're respectful of one another. We're not here for politics or the talk about issues regarding politics because that's a sticky subject. We're here to talk about your case and how it can help you. Also, about how we can fight CPS and make it a better agency, make it better. Because you're going to find it's very corrupt. They lie. I've caught them in committing perjury in court. So you're going through a lot. But I'm very knowledgeable. I've been talking and fighting CPS for 15 years, ever since I lost my favorite job in 2010. Unfortunately, I lost the job through no fault of my own. And it's been very difficult being involved in CPS because I've spent my life savings, my retirement, my inheritance, and even quick sold my home. I had a beautiful $2 million home from the beach. It's gone. It's gone. My life has been really upside down with CPS. It's made it very difficult for me to find work because they have CPS on my record. That is the saddest part about it. CPS can ruin your life. And a lot of people can tell you that or relate to that. Now, I'm going to put my phone number up in case you guys would like to also call in. I can only talk to one at a time, but there's my phone number. It's direct line to my phone. It's 626-698-0990. And it will ring on my phone. I have 2 phone numbers on my phone. I have my carrier number and my private work line, which is actually done on the internet. It's done on the internet. So that's how I can have 2 numbers. I imagine there's probably other ways that people find it. I don't know. Okay, we had someone that called in named Nancy Toten at 9:31. Let me go ahead and give her a call and see what she wants.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. This is Bob Pace with the law office of Vincent W. Davis, and I'm talking from my live stream. I noticed that you called this morning about 9 something my time on the west coast of California. How can I help you?
Thank you, sir. DHS took my daughter, and they have done everything wrong. They violated all of our rights. The foster mom has filed to adopt her before they even terminated my rights.
Wow.
They totally
I certainly will try the help. Believe me, I will. Can you tell me your first name?
My name is Nancy.
Okay. Glad to meet you, Nancy. And what part of the world are you from?
I live in Iowa, but I'm from Florida.
Okay. Is the case in Florida or Iowa?
It's in Iowa, but
Okay.
I got her. She's legally she's my great niece. I took in my nephew when my brother died.
Okay. Stop for a
I put
moment. Stop for one moment. We have Betty Jo in the room. She can relate because she's trying to get her brother's child. So, um, your brother died, and you took
I
custody
took in my nephew.
nephew. Now my question is,
He was
Betty
17.
Jo
I never.
has a niece. You have a nephew. Did you do any custom arrangements when you took in your nephew?
He was 17. No, and this is his child.
No, okay.
I raised.
Your brother was 17 when he had a child.
Hang on a minute. Now back up. My
Okay.
brother passed away. I took in his 17-year-old son. I never adopted him. He got a girl pregnant. The state handed me the baby when she was 6 months old. I've raised her for over 11 years. So
Oh,
legally, she's my great niece, not my granddaughter. But
right. Okay. So here's my question is the mother involved with the
she's in
17-year-old?
prison.
I'm sorry, what?
Her rights are terminated. She's in prison. Last I heard.
Wow. Wow. So the nephew that you've been raising had a baby at age 17?
No, his daddy passed when he was 17. I took him in. He was 24. Went to a party, gave her a girl ride home, got her pregnant.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to understand this now. This nephew, when his dad died, which is your brother, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when his brother died, how old was he then?
Matthew was 17 when his dad died.
Okay. And
There was no need to adopt a 17-year-old. You know, I took him
well,
in.
by law, I hate to tell you that our society's built on laws, and it's a sad part. But by law, unless the child is at 18 or older, they're considered a minor. A minor has to have a custodian, either a ward of the state or a biological parent or adopted parent. So, but you not adopting that boy at 17, uh, you're going to get taken advantage of by a rogue entity in, you said Iowa, right? Is where the case was opened up.
No, it started in Florida. We're from Florida. We came up here to help a relative that passed.
Oh, okay.
They took my kid.
So you moved from Iowa to Florida or from Florida to Iowa? I mean, I'm trying to understand. You mentioned another state.
I was in Florida. I grew up in Iowa. I was in the military. I lived in Florida. The child was born in Florida. I got custody of her. I had guardianship. We came to Iowa because my relative was very sick, and I took care of her until she passed. And DHS claims that Iowa law supersedes Florida law. My guardianship rights are, I don't have any rights in Iowa.
I don't think that's true. I think that the problem is you're going to have to get the county involved, or not the county, you have to get the state involved, or even go to the federal government to Washington, D.C. to get involved because one state does not have presidents of another state. If your case,
Iowa is totally corrupt. Iowa is so corrupt, you have no idea.
oh, I know. You're not the first person that I've talked to that have had problems with Iowa. You're not the first person. I mean, I've talked to.
I'm in contact with 20. There are 19 people that have had 29 children taken from them in our area, and 25 of the 29 are girls. They're taking our little girls.
Oh boy, they're trafficking is what they're doing.
I don't know. That's what scares me.
Well,
they have not allowed me to see my child. I was allowed to see her 3 times, and it was all just, it was the social worker just lied. and they said that I'm a dangerous person. You can't go near her. She's going to kidnap her. They have not allowed me to see my child in a year. I've seen her accidentally twice, and she's begging, "Help me, mommy! Please help me, mommy! I love you. I want to go home. I'm good.
Yeah,
Please help me, mommy."
I understand.
Get out of here.
I understand. It's hard with the
But
emotional
nobody cares.
involvement. I do care. Don't say no one cares. There are people in this room. Betty Joe is trying to help you right now. Um, she's she's been with me for 25 months, and I've been doing this now for 25 months. She said, Betty Joe said, I sent off a letter as an email to the guardian of Lightham, the caseworker. The prosecutor's attorney asked him to change placement. I gave examples why I think the change of placement should happen. Now she says, do you have paperwork stating that you have guardianship over this child? You may not have guardianship over the 17-year-old. Do you have guardianship over the baby that your nephew had?
12 now.
Oh, your daughter's 12?
Yes, I raised her for 11 and a half years. Sometimes she was 6 months old. They're saying she has no say, so they won't even let her speak in court. The only time she's allowed to speak is on Skype with a foster mother sitting beside her. And she goes, oh, I just don't want my dear Katina to be traumatized by having to see Nancy, which is me.
Yeah, understand.
This is what she's done. She's taken 3 other kids.
Well, it's hardest thing to do, Nancy, sometimes. I know emotions. I go through it myself personally. But one thing you got to learn is that you got to be desensitized. I know it's very emotional and everything, but you got to logically go through it step by step. I got to think. And that's what I'm doing right now. How I help people is I logically think and I go slow. It's a step by step. It's like chess. I don't know if you ever played the game of chess, but chess is strategies and movements and it's slow process. It isn't something that happens fast. The problem is, first of all, you got to recognize that you're dealing with a very corrupt agency. 50% of the child protection systems are corrupt. They lie, they cheat, they steal the money. I mean, I know this firsthand because I too had a horrible CPS case. In fact, I caught the social worker committing perjury in court. So
they do. They lied in court and nobody makes them accountable.
I know that. So if I understand this correctly, you raised a 17-year-old son at 17 from your brother who got a girl pregnant who is now 12 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is the mother of that 12-year-old child, is she in prison? Is that what you're saying?
As far as I know, she's in prison in Pennsylvania, and she has filed child abuse charges against me from Pennsylvania, not seeing her in 11 years.
Well, no, they're doing it all because of money. You have to understand, CPS works on money. It's $1 trillion business. Billions goes to the state, and millions of dollars goes to the county. There's a case right now in Richmond, Kentucky, where $1 million is missing. And they just recently have found that the social worker embezzled $400,000. They're still trying to find out where the $600,000 went to. You have to understand, CPS is so corrupt, the social workers steal. They take money. Money's given off in bonuses. Every child that's taken in the system, the state pays the county agency $20,000 per month for that child to be in custody. $20,000 a month. And if it's a special needs child, it's additional $10,000. And if that child's adopted into foster care, the federal government, there was a law passed in 97 by President Bill Clinton that said that we will give 35,000 to every child protection agency that gets the child adopted into foster care. They think that family reunification is too lengthy of a process. So now I got the So there was no paperwork that you had custody of that child that your brother's nephew had. You didn't have custody of your nephew.
I have the guardian guardianship. I also spent thousands of dollars with a crooked attorney in Florida that never got it done. She just kept milking money out of me. And never
Oh, I'm
got the
so
adoption
sorry
done.
to hear
Finally, I
that.
just gave up.
Yeah,
I just gave up.
I know that there's attorneys with no scruples, and I'm sorry to hear that.
The birth mother would not terminate the rights. The birth mother tried to blackmail me. Well, give me $10,000 and I'll terminate my rights and let you have her.
They do that. They all do it for money. It's all about money. The whole world's about money.
My child is worth more than $1 trillion billion to me.
I understand, because you emotionally got bonded with the child. That is your great, yeah, that's your great niece. I think it's how it would be. And
Great niece.
or great niece. And she's 12 years old today?
Not today, March. She'll be 13 in March.
Oh, all right. She's 12 now. Okay. Does her father still be involved with her, or what happened to the father? What happened to the 17-year-old boy you raised?
Okay, Matthew is now 30 something. Anyway.
Well, I know what happened to him. What happened to him? Why is he not there taking care of his 12-year-old daughter?
He's in Florida. DHS filed for child support from him. He lives off grid. They put him in prison for 8 months for non-payment of child support. Well, they harassed me for 2.5 years.
Well, wait a minute.
They put him in prison.
You are raising the 17-year-old who's now in the 30s, and he had a child, and the mother of that child is in prison also, but she's trying to embezzle you for funds for getting custody. But you say you have guardianship of that 12-year-old?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have the paperwork for that, right?
Yes, I do. Florida paper.
All right. That paper is something you're going to use to get your child back, because there's now, what incident, why did the child get involved with CPS? Why did CPS step in?
Since I didn't adopt her, the name is different. She went to camp. My niece set up the paperwork on a computer. She got to camp. Her earring got infected. She just got new earrings. The camp nurse went, "Oh, I'm a hero. I found a kidnapped child from Florida." Put my child in her car, took her to the hospital. 5 sheriff's deputies and 3 social workers questioned that baby for 3.5 hours. "Where's your real mom?" She didn't know I wasn't her mom. And DHS harassed me for 2.5 years. They didn't leave me alone from there. They never left us alone. They came to my house every week.
Yeah, they do that. My question is,
they got mad and they came every day for a month.
Yeah, how did you find out about our law firm? How did you find out about us?
I've been praying, and it just was presented to me in a bunch of paperwork.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you found me. We can try to work through this. I have a lot of people that are here giving support and so forth.
My hard thing is they're trying to totally terminate my rights on November 4th, which is 8 days.
Yeah, I know that.
They're trying to let that woman adopt her. She's trying to adopt her before January 1st because she'll get a $16,000 bonus for adopting my child.
Oh yeah, it's all about money. It's all about money.
She's a DHS worker.
Yeah.
She's a social worker.
Oh yeah, they are corrupt. And
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I hope you're not offended. She works at a place where they take in problem children, and a friend of mine just did a residency there. He said, "Nancy, they're all homosexuals. They're transitioning these kids when they come in because they're so desperate for love."
Oh boy.
Like, my attorney, my court-appointed attorney, was a man married to a man. My daughter's court-appointed attorney is a man that thinks he's a woman. The social worker is a man that thinks he's a woman.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I hope that doesn't offend you. It's just, it's bad. I don't care what people do, but we are kids alone.
Well, the problem is, it sounds like we're barely making ends meet. It's not your fault. It sounds like you're a kind-hearted woman. Do you have any biological children of your own?
Deceased. My baby girl died before birth.
Oh.
But I've raised 3 of my other nephews.
Okay. All right.
3 total.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, they get to a point where they go back home or something. But I've always had a lot of kids in my my life.
Yeah.
And see, this even improves my ability to be with kids. I love kids. I mean, I walk through stores and kids come and hug me they don't even know who I am. I mean, God just has something I love kids and they love me.
Yeah. Betty Joe is asking me a question. Bob, you're not part of the law firm? Yes. I work for Vincent W. Davis. But Vincent W. Davis, like his attorneys, don't do pro bono work. So her situation is financially, she has hit the wrong attorneys, and she needs a real good attorney on this case there, because what we need to do is put a stop to this adoption, because you have paperwork that you show custodian there. What has your court appointed attorney told you so far?
I fired him about 4 months ago, and
Okay.
about a month ago, they finally gave me another attorney who is doing her best, but she's like, my hands are tied. I came in too late. I'll still try. But
Yeah, I think
they left me for 2 months with no attorney.
Right, that's sad. To all you listening out there,
horrible.
This is a case where you said Iowa is the one that's doing all this, right?
To be specific, it's Polk County, Iowa.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You can tell Polk County, Iowa.
There are almost as many kids in foster care in Polk County, Iowa as the entire rest of the state.
Yeah.
Does that speak volumes on what they're doing?
Yes, you're not the first person from there. Now, Betty Joe says there's an attorney in Nebraska, Fremont, Nebraska. You can look him up. His name is Stephen Tuhig, Twohig. He's out of Fremont, Nebraska. Stephen, Steven.
Last name?
Tuhig, Twohig.
Okay.
And he's out of Fremont, Nebraska. So you'd Google it and go to Fremont, Nebraska and look for Stephen Tuhig.
Okay. Are you allowed to practice in Iowa or no?
Okay, first of all, I'm not an attorney. I don't know if you missed it or anything there. I have experience work with CPS. I've been married for 43 years. I have that experience. I've raised 6 children. I had my own CPS case, and I had Mr. Davis, who is my attorney here at this law firm in California. He'll go to every state, but I'm afraid it may be inhibited with costs. For instance, for him to take on a case in his backyard in LA County, California, because he works out of Arcadia, his retainer is $5,000. He's $500 an hour. And I've given quotes to people that wanted him in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. It was $125,000 retainer. The reason why he's so much money is he's got the airfare to get there, he's got the ground transportation to drive around, and the hotel accommodations and food. Plus, he has to get the license in the state that he's gone to. So that's why it's much. Now, I had sold my home to get the money to hire Vincent Davis. He got back my kids. He's good. That's all he does. He's been fighting CPS for 40 years. He'll talk to you though. We have some on the banner underneath my screen. He'll talk to you. He'll text you for $10 for a private text. He will talk to you for $15 for a private phone call.
I don't have money. They bankrupted me.
I know that.
Allow me to go to work because
I'm trying to tell you something that might be affordable. If you want to be on his live stream. All right. Anyway, it's on my banner. I'm just trying to say you just send it to Cash App, Apple Pay, or Zella, 310-308-7758. It's showing there. So if you want there now, Betty Joes did say that Stephen does cases out of Iowa. So I'm glad to hear that. But I don't know his rate. I don't know how expensive he is. But Betty.
I'm broke. I'm 67 years old.
Yes.
They bankrupted me.
I understand.
I have to get my Social Security.
Yeah.
My ex-husband put everything on the business. I have no income all those years I was married.
Oh, but you
I
get spouse. Is your husband still alive?
I'm divorced from him, yes.
Oh, he's still alive. Well, there's spousal support if he dies, but you had to divorce him. Well, that's terrible. Sounds like you've had a
Anyway,
really.
I mean, I know God will provide, but all these attorneys, that's why DHS gets by with it, because if you don't have money, they take your kid.
Oh, I know they do.
Okay, maybe you can help me with this. I've been talking to my family members. I have 4 nephews, 3 cousins who are all willing to file to adopt my daughter to stop this woman from doing it. Can we do that legally? Because they never allow family to take
well,
her.
first of all, no one has guardianship of that child except you.
The state of Iowa does right now.
How does the state of Iowa took over guardianship? Is there paperwork?
They declared that in court the other day. In court the other day, they declared she is now a China award of the state of Iowa and a China something, child in need of assistance.
Wow.
And the foster mom, his name is Shackleford. She shackled my daughter. She has custody until they said that she has custody until the adoption, until they can proceed with the adoption.
Now, how old is that child of yours? 12, right?
She'll be 13 in March.
Well, she can file for divorce from all of those people and want you. Did you know a child at 12 can divorce their guardianship or their biological parents?
13 in the state of Iowa is what they're telling me.
Okay, in California it's 12. In California it's 12. Well, then she can do it when she's 13. She can file for divorce. She can do it. It's just good.
The woman adopts her? Because I'm hearing once she's adopted, it's a done deal.
No, it's not a done deal because when she turns 13, she can divorce whoever has custody of her.
She's never been allowed to speak. They're making her go to a new age
psychiatrist. At 13, she can do that. She can do that. Please get a hold of this attorney. You got to get this attorney. All right. Do you want me to?
On the file a restraining order to keep me away from her. I've seen my daughter twice in a year. Twice accidentally. She was ripped away from me.
What were the accusations? Was it neglect or abuse or both?
Medical neglect because I didn't get the COVID shots for her, which I don't do shots. I do homeopathic natural medicine.
Right.
Also, they claim my daughter had gone in my bedroom, in my nightstand, stole 3 Reese's candy bars and a box of graham crackers. She had breakfast and lunch that day. I sent her to bed without dinner. It's like, you don't steal. Oh, that's, I mean, she fat shamed her. It's not fat shaming. It's called parenting. You don't steal out of somebody's,
right.
1,000 calories worth of stuff there. They claim that I fat shamed her, and in front of the social worker, we're discussing it. I said, "It's stupid to steal." She calls her stupid. No, I said it's stupid to steal. She fat shamed her. She calls her stupid. She sent her to bed with no food. She won't get shots. That's what they did.
I understand what you're. Yeah. You have to understand is that talking to you, if you talk the same way around social workers like that, and you do that, they're going to end up taking you and hang you because you're very, very emotional, and they feed on emotions, and it's hard. That's why attorneys are so important because they try not to get emotion involved. But Betty Jo says that you can ask if Stevenson does take your case, the courts can be appointed to him, and you can do what's called an ICPC. It's called the Interstate Compact for Placement of Children. You can have the child returned to you. It's going to involve a legal attorney. You got to get a legal attorney involved. And Betty Jo says he wants to help you, but that Stephen Tuhig will help you. Stephen Tuhig will help you.
See, right now, I don't have the money. And I know another family's telling me when this is all said and done, you have a major lawsuit.
Well, yeah, you do have a civil lawsuit because your constitutional and civil rights have been violated. Yes, you do have a civil lawsuit and civil lawsuits, but even a civil lawsuit is going to cost you money. I wanted to do a civil lawsuit because of the social worker lying, committing perjury. but my attorney said I had to come up with $50,000. I didn't have a $50,000 retainer. So even though a civil lawsuit costs money, there's this thing that I thought attorneys like to do, a contingent, where they take on a case. If they win, then they take their money out of the case. It's usually 50%. But
They
um,
can have any money they want.
I understand that.
I don't
Yeah.
care about the money.
Well, yeah. If you
She's not
once,
safe.
yeah, I understand that, but you're going to have to get a hold. And also, I'm on twice a day. Just because you didn't resolve this morning, you can talk to me again tonight or tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, the next day, next day. Betty Jo's been with me now for 25 months. She's been with me since the start of my show, and she's from Montana, and she's helping out Lisa Bartley, who has a terrible case in Montana about them taking away her boy. She has a 5-year-old boy, and they've been doing nothing more than ruin her life. The police ripped her door down. They're out there replacing the door. There's so much corruptness among the police, among the social workers. I mean, I was in court on Friday. I was in court on Friday on 3 cases. I got the 3 cases resolved. I won my 3 cases. But I talked to the sheriffs there and I said, Sheriffs, do you get yourself involved with CPS? I heard some very interesting stories from the sheriffs because the CPS uses the sheriffs as intimidation. You know, they wear bulletproof vests, they have all that ornament on, they look very bulky and very hostile. And that's what CPS does. They do that. So, you
My
know,
daddy was a sheriff's deputy. I'm not intimidated by them.
right,
I
I
was in the
understand.
military. I'm not intimidated.
I know that. But I'm just trying to say is that, first of all, you don't want to argue with social workers, you don't want to talk to them. You need to have your attorney present. If you don't have an attorney, they appoint one. And that appoint one's terrible, then you get another one. Right now, I'm telling you about an attorney that you got nothing hurt by calling them up. And you can use my name, Bob Pace, and Betty Jo's name, Betty Jo, and say, Betty Jo told me to contact you, Stephen, and I need help. I have guardianship. You got to make it simple so you understand it. Tell them you have guardianship in Florida, but they don't recognize it in Iowa. And they took away your guardianship, and now a foster care person has adopted your child, which is wrong. And
She's trying to. It's not done yet.
I know that, but she's
It's not
going
done
to.
yet.
I know she's going to try to. Can you help me? So you still got a couple days before the 4th. Today is what, the 26th?
Yes,
27th, 27th. So you got today, 27th,
27th.
28th, 29th,
8
30.
days.
You got 5 days plus 4 days. So you got the rest of this week to get something done. Also, I'm not going to disappear. I'll be here again tonight and tomorrow night and the morning after. I'm here twice a day. I've been doing this for 25 months. This is my 25th month. That's over 2 years.
Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, here's
I'm sorry.
something. Let me ask your opinion. My attorney found something in the records. It claims that I called the police department 10 times in 45 minutes, kept hanging up, and I claimed that I had a gun under my pillow and that I was going to harm my child. This is the first I've heard of it, right? If I had a gun said I had a gun under my pillow and was going to harm a child, wouldn't the police have been pounding on my door? If this actually happened, wouldn't they have been pounding on my door? That's insane. It's not. It's another lie. And I'm debating. I'm going to the police department today and find out exactly what's going on. Where did this come from?
Well, the more and more you dig, the more and more corruptness you're going to find. You have to get an attorney. I would first talk to Stephen and ask him for his advice or talk to me. But I would certainly not with the money. You're in a financial situation. You're different. You're in a financial situation where you're helpless. So you don't make waves. You do not make waves.
I
Now,
would give every penny I have to get her back.
yeah, I
I
know
still
that.
have to do
You
it.
will. You will. You got to keep your faith in God. You got to keep your faith in God. Um, I'm so sorry
I
that
do.
you.
That's what hurts that God allowed this.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
That's what hurts that God's allowing this.
Now, Betty Jo
That's what
says,
God
tell
allowed.
Stephen that you have a guardianship in the state of Florida, that you want to have your guardianship transferred to Iowa, but it may, they're sitting there saying that social worker have put the ward of the case in Iowa. Now, you only went to Iowa because you're visiting. Why did you go from Florida to Iowa?
The birth mother and her druggy friend came to kidnap my child. Luckily, her sister gave me a heads up. They stopped him. I called a sheriff friend of mine. They stopped him at the border, had him arrested. I didn't feel safe. A friend of mine in Iowa was dying. I came up to take care of her. I ended up buying her house for a very cheap price. And we thought, we'll get a fresh start. I have family here. I grew up in Iowa. And life was great. I mean, I had a great life until 3 years ago. CPS started harassing me after the camp incident. That's all. And people tell me I need to sue the camp. You need to sue them to pay for the attorney fees.
Well,
Because they should have never
lawsuits
allowed that woman to do
are a secondary issue. You need to follow. You need to satisfy your civil issues here. You have a criminal case. CPS has charged you. You need to prove your case. You need to get a hold of Stephen.
They've never charged me with anything. They've never really charged me with anything.
Well, Stephen, you
Shaming
need
and
to tell
calling
Stephen
me.
that. You need to tell Stephen that. But you got to be very precise when you talk to an attorney. You got to be very precise. You got to be unemotional and tell them that you had guardianship, that you raised your brother's child for
Grandchild.
brothers.
My brother's granddaughter.
Yeah, your brother's granddaughter. Okay. It gets complicated, but anyway,
I know.
will that daughter stand up for you? Will that daughter stand up with you, or is she going to change her mind? Because if she doesn't with you on this, you're not going to win it.
Katina, the last time I saw her was in July. She's begging me to come home.
Okay, all
now
right.
They're saying that the courts the other day, they claimed that Katina said that she, the guardian license, Katina said she just wants this over with and have Angela adopt her. It's like, really? Let Katina tell me. If Katina wants it over with, I'll walk away. I will walk away if that's what she wants.
No, don't give in. Don't give in. You got to be strong. You got to believe in God, and you got to be strong. And it's hard. I know it's so hard, Nancy. I know how hard it is. Yeah. Well, Nancy. Yeah.
She's going to a cult church.
I understand.
She's God's little girl. I took her. She was Satan's child when she was born, and she's a baptized, born-again child of God. And that we took her 2 weeks after she was water baptized.
Yeah.
We took her.
Right.
It's a demonic agenda to tear her apart again. But they made her gain 70 pounds in a year. Where's that? That's child abuse. The woman that has her is like 350 pounds. She's made my child obese.
Yep.
She's made her obese. It's just, I don't know if you've ever been in Iowa, but all these social workers, everybody there, 300 pounds, they're huge people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got to keep the emotions. It's like that. You got to stick with the facts of the law. The way it works in the system is law. So I want you to call after my show. Pardon?
Can we get that woman for child abuse for making a child gain that much weight to be obese?
Well, you can do a lot of things right now. The first step is you need to get a hold of Stephen, all right? Now, call me tonight after you talk to Stephen today and tell me what he had to say, okay? And Betty Joe will be on tonight too. Now,
I'm sorry, sweetheart. It's just I've been fighting 3 days last week between court, 3 days, and then all day today, and
I know.
Everything feels like a dead end. It's all about money. Everything's about money.
Yes.
That hurts.
But anyway, I do have to wrap up my show because right now it's 11 o'clock and my show ends at 11. So I have to wrap it up. But in talking to you, Nancy, we have Nancy originally from Florida who has a very unusual case where she's trying to keep her daughter that she had guardianship in Florida, but the state of Iowa does not recognize guardianship in Florida. And now that she's been awarded the ward of the court, They're trying to have an adopted parent take care of her, adopted social worker, and her daughter doesn't want to go there. This person has also had her gain a lot of weight, and that is wrong too. That's a form of abuse, and believe me, um, that is wrong there. So talk to Stephen, and you work it, but do not give up. Come back to me tonight, tomorrow night. You keep talking to me, okay?
Yes.
You hang in there,
Thank you.
Nancy. All right. Anytime you can ask for a police report. If something says there's a report, you can call up and say, "Can I report as such and such?" Or "How can I get a police report? You said that the police did something or whatever." You can ask for the report from the police department. But anyway, I
I have a
thank you.
police
I thank you, Nancy. I thank you for your case. But I'm praying for you. Now, Betty Joe, thank you for helping me with Nancy. You're a sweetheart from um, Montana. That's great for you to take me and help me through this, Betty Joe. I really appreciate what you're doing. Now, Kim from Michigan, I never heard from you anymore. She had a daughter in her case. I'd like to help you, Kim, from Malcolm County, Michigan. Please talk to me tonight. I'll be on tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. So I want to thank to all my listeners. I want to thank the emoji thumbs up from Frank Stanley Vigasi. Thank you. I
I
think
have a
you're.
call coming in. I need to end this call.
Go ahead. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Nancy, and she has a lot of emotions. That's one of the hardest things you can do. If you're going to fight CPS, you guys not be emotional. It's not hard, but it is frustrating. It is frustrating. So I'm going to take down my phone number because my show's over. I'm going to put it up to Department of Doge, and that's at the federal level. You try to resolve your issue at the county level with either the supervisor, the manager, or the director. It's a waste of time to talk to CASA or Guardians of Litem or ombudsperson. Now, at the state, you should talk to the civil rights coordinator. If that doesn't work, then you go to the federal government. Please explore the webpage of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. It tells exactly what they're doing. They're very transparent. There's also 2 numbers you can call if you have questions. The area codes are the White House, 202. But they do work. I've talked to both numbers. Lastly, you can send an email outlining your problems or your case with CPS. Email Doge. It's at Doge, DOGE, at mail.house.gov. But anyway, I'm going to leave that on. I don't want you ever to stop fighting for your child. Please join me tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, there'll be a brief video that'll follow me editing the show. Please watch the video. God bless you and have a beautiful day.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last